Hello and welcome to our second installment of the Sony Reveal. My name's Daniel.
And my name is Tim.
Because, you know, that matters. Anyway, press start, Tim. I guess I'll go with...
Naked
Old Man!
Ah, fuck.
So pick whatever character you want to get molested with the most.
Dante.
Okay, press start. Press down. Naked Young Man!
You think this was a setup, you would be wrong.
Yeah, I didn't tell Tim that I was about to molest him.
He never does.
Wink. But, so, as leaving off where I left off before, the second thing that I'm most excited about is... I actually am not excited about a whole lot more other than the Vita thing, actually, to be perfectly honest.
Right.
I'm not, you know, worried about it. I don't think it's going to be a step down. I think it's just going to be like a more powerful PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 3, to be honest.
What about the PlayStation 3 games, though?
Yeah, well, now to get to the things Daniel is negatively excited about. For those of you who do not know, the PlayStation 4 will not be backwards compatible. Big surprise. But the thing that did surprise me is that your PlayStation Network games will not carry over.
Okay, one thing at a time here. First off, the PlayStation 3 games won't play. Now, I can understand why the PlayStation 3 doesn't play the PlayStation 2 games. Because Blu-ray is a totally different format. But don't ask me how the fucking PlayStation 1 games play on all of them, but PlayStation 2 only on select models. That's neither here nor there. But the idea that Blu-ray, the reason why the PlayStation 2 games wouldn't play was the Blu-ray. At least that's what I thought. Am I wrong? Am I totally wrong?
Probably, but I have no idea, so just keep going.
Right. But, so now they're telling me, what, are they going to have a new format or something?
It has to do with, from what has been explained to me, but you must keep in mind that I'm not terribly technically literate, and I just kind of have to take on faith what a lot of people tell me.
Right.
And most of the people who really talk about this shit are fanboys.
Right.
And they will defend it to their death.
Right. Which means we're going to get a lot of hate-filled comments for the literal we're showing now.
You know, whatever. Keep in mind, guys, the only system other than a DS I own is a Sony PlayStation and a Sony Vita. So, you know...
Whereas I own every PlayStation to date, all versions.
I mean, I've owned all the versions of PlayStation that have existed, but I do not currently. But anyway.
We're game enthusiasts.
We are. And I would say that a thing from Sony gets me far more excited than any other company.
Run from the fucking bear!
You get back here. That bear gonna rape you.
No. Moonwalk out of existence!
At least I bombarded you.
At least.
But anyway. So yeah. What the fuck was I talking about before we digressed?
I don't remember. We were talking about the backwards compatibility issue.
Yeah, so as far as I understand it, it's because it has a completely and totally different insides. Like, the structure of the system itself is so vastly different that it wouldn't be able to read the discs, essentially.
What?
I do not know. I trust that is true, actually.
That is so much bullshit.
No, I mean, it makes sense to me, but it also makes sense that they would have done that intentionally.
Motherfucker, you had to get that killing right before the fucking...
I did. Because I told you that a naked old man was going to rape a naked young man, and goddamn it happened.
Right.
But anyway, so I believe that it is true, but I also believe that it was carefully orchestrated to be true. Because the last thing they want is for it to not be true.
Yeah. It'll be... something will happen. What am I doing?
I don't know. Pick whatever character you want to play. I'm going to continue raping yo ass with a naked old man.
Let's do this.
So that's the long and the short of that.
Let's play a real course.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, shit. Okay.
I should have. I just was trying not to distract myself, even though we keep heavily digressing. But yeah, so they won't play. They will not play your old games, and though they are planning in the future, they do want to make it so that it can play your games. But I take that to mean that they are going to make you rebuy them, which I am not okay with.
Neither am I. You know, okay. Now, I'm going to say this, and this is from my vast ages of... Backwards compatibility is basically a new thing. It hasn't really been around for very long. I mean, if you look at consoles, you look at, like a lot of consoles, whenever the whole home console thing started, they came with all of their games. Like, all the games for the system came with the systems. There was no such thing as, like, there's another game... You know, there's no such thing as, well, the next system's coming out and I can play my old games with it. No, you played that set of games that came with it. And then, like, Atari and ColecoVision and Television came along, and even they did that. Like, Atari 2600, 5200, and 7800, yeah, no, none of that shit. At least that I can remember. All the cartridges were vastly different. And then Nintendo, Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. Backwards compatibility is really a new concept that went between PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, GameCube, and Wii, and Xbox, kind of, to Xbox 360. So, you know, it just didn't last very long because I guess it just wasn't a thing that they wanted to keep.
Well, it's not as profitable.
Always. Yeah.
Because it makes way more sense for them to just make you pay for the same games over and over, which you can only do for so long, guys.
Well, the thing is, you can just keep your old consoles. Everybody's like, oh shit, the new thing's coming out, so I'm gonna sell mine and fucking forget all about it. Or compilations. You also gotta remember about them, too. Like, you're not only gonna get, like, fucking...
Normally, I agree with you, Tim, but there is a thing about this, which I've already said, that makes that a lot more, troublesome.
And what's that?
That your games do not transfer from your PSN account.
Ah, right, the next part we gotta get into.
So, the problem I have with that is, I paid full retail price for this thing. So,
Right.
this game. Not this one, because I bought the CD for this one.
Yeah.
So, I own the CD. I can keep my PlayStation 3.
And I will likely get my own so I can do it on the Vita, because I like this game.
Yeah.
I suck at it, but I like it.
I'm the same way. I'm just better than you because I've played online more. But I own this game as a CD, so even if the PS3 goes out of, goes out of...
Fish! I got the fish!
Ow.
Do you want the fish? Do you want
I want to beat your ass until I can get that missile. God damn it.
I gave you that missile.
So the problem with that I have is...
Really? Fucking prick!
The problem that I have is, let's say the PlayStation 3 goes out of vogue. And they, which, it will. And then eventually, because the PlayStation Network is not going to be the same between the 4 and the 3, eventually they're just going to say, well, we're no longer supporting the PlayStation Network for the PlayStation 3.
You do realize the very moment that happens, there's going to be lawsuits out the butt.
I hope so, because that can't be allowed to happen, because I have paid you full retail price to own this thing. Yes, I'm leasing it, blah, 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 I don't fucking care. For every measurable difference, I own it.
Well, see, the thing is, all these companies are trying to define ownership now, and in their EULAs, and that's really where a problem is coming from. They're defining what your rights are as a consumer when it comes to class action lawsuits and such. They're trying to define what ownership is. They're doing a lot of things that are really detrimental to customers, but we don't give a flying fuck what we're being subjected to.
But anyway, to continue on my horror scenario.
Sorry.
Everyone's
horror scenario was going to be that Diablo 3 is going to be on these fuckers.
Shut the fuck up. But the horror scenario is, well, okay, as everyone keeps bitching at me every time I say, man, I hope the PlayStation 4 is backwards compatible, is, well, just keep your PlayStation 3. Well, gee, a lot of fucking good that does me when I can't download my games anymore.
Yeah, when that's no longer supported.
And they're like, oh, well, you just download them onto your PlayStation 3. Well, what happens when my PlayStation 3 breaks? I can't just go buy another one because, I can't re-fucking download all the games that I own.
You can't? Oh, that's right. The network's gone. Yeah.
Yeah, if the network is gone, then no, I can't. They're gone. They're gone forever.
Yeah.
Even though I paid the same amount to have the CD, in theory, sometimes I paid more!
Well, see, that's the issue, because these companies are trying to maximize profit, and these aren't the original people that started these companies with the ideas in mind that made them great companies. These are people that now have them and are just trying to maximize profits instead of maximizing whatever they were founded on.
And I am definitely okay with, trying to get the maximum amount of money for the least amount of effort, but you also have to keep you walk out of existence.
No,
hold on.
Amount of effort stuff. That's
wait your goddamn fucking mouth, goddamn it. There is a limit to that, though.
Right.
Because you can't just say fuck you to your customers so often.
Yeah.
Because you have to do it to a point. Because your customers want the sun for nothing. And that's just the way it is because we're customers.
Well, the paradigm is kind of shifting, though. Because the thing is, whenever it came to customer service, customers wanted everything for nothing. And there was a good amount of time where they could get that if they were bitching about it. But now, it's gotten ruined, basically. Customers have done that shit so much, the companies are now like, hey, guess what? You get nothing. You want a bitch? You get nothing. You get nothing, but we get all your money. You get nothing, but we have all your money anyway.
And everyone's gonna tell us about, oh, well, it's just video games, hold on. It's like, no, it's everything.
It's fucking disgraceful.
Yeah. But, I saw Old Man Tank. So we, what time we at?
I think we should end this one. We're getting on about 12 minutes, so.
Alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, we probably will do one more episode on the Sony PlayStation 4. I wouldn't call it a fiasco.
Well, I brought up something that may make the next episode a fiasco if we delve deeper into that.
Okay.
On both ends.
Alrighty, everybody. So just know, from the bottom of our hearts, I love you.